In Terminator 2, the T-1000 is a terrifying shape-shifting liquid metal robot, until this happens. This scene left a lot of people convinced that liquid nitrogen is capable of freezing anything almost instantly. But could a liquid metal body actually freeze like that in real life? Well, today I'm putting that to the test with a real liquid metal Terminator and a life-size T-1000 as well. First, we need to figure out how much liquid nitrogen it would take to actually freeze a liquid metal body. Now, the movie never mentions what alloy the T-1000 is made of, but we do know it has to be able to switch between solid and liquid at room temperature. So the best real-life candidate for that is gallium. Gallium freezes just below body temperature, which means it can be a liquid in your hand but turn to solid if you cool it down just a little. But here's the catch, a phase change like this actually requires a lot of energy. For example, if you wanted to freeze a liter of water, about 24% of the total energy removed would go to just cooling the water to freezing point, while 76% of the energy is required to actually turn it into ice. The energy required to turn a liquid into a solid is called the latent heat of fusion. And when you compare gallium to other metals and even water, you can see that gallium has a much lower value. So if we're going to freeze any metal with liquid nitrogen, gallium is our best shot. So this is my T-1000 model made of gallium. Now we need to melt him down so we can actually test how much liquid nitrogen it takes to freeze him again. But let's pour some liquid nitrogen at his feet just for the full effect here. Okay, now I've got a puddle of liquid, but let's see how much liquid nitrogen it takes to make this solid again. In order to do this, I'm going to first get it into a bag here. 55.3 grams. So let's see how much liquid nitrogen it takes to freeze 55.3 grams of gallium. Okay, so I'm going to start off filling it to 230 milliliters, about 8 ounces. There we go. Now I'm just going to dip this in here and it should boil a lot. It's going to take a while to cool this down because it has to not only cool down the gallium, but it has to crystallize it as well. So I'll be able to know when it's frozen because it will stop boiling as violently. Oh, I think we got there. Okay, it's solid. And let's see where we are with our liquid nitrogen. Looks like we're at 160 milliliters. So in order to freeze 9 milliliters of gallium, 70 milliliters of liquid nitrogen had to come into contact with the gallium and boil off. So if we had one liquid metal Terminator, we would need about 8 of his same volume of liquid nitrogen, or about 560 liters of liquid nitrogen to come into contact and completely boil away while touching his body. But as you can see in the movie, 560 liters did not come into contact and boil off of him. There's barely any on the floor when he walks through it. But okay, let's give the movie the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the T-1000 did get more nitrogen on him than we saw in the movie. But there's still a major problem. He's not swimming in liquid nitrogen, he's just walking on it. So how would his entire body have frozen just from stepping in a shallow puddle of liquid nitrogen? To test this, I have my life-size T-1000. I'm going to pour liquid nitrogen into this container at his feet and use a thermal camera to measure how cold the whole body gets. And since he's not made of metal, I have this aluminum ruler in the back to see how far the cold actually spreads up the ruler. Okay, let's do it. So his feet look really cold, but not much is happening to the rest of the body. And before we continue, if you ever feel like you're the T-1000 getting frozen in liquid nitrogen, let me tell you about our sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via messaging, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist in the app or online anytime and schedule a live session when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for you for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with more scheduling flexibility at a more affordable price. So get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/actionlab, or you can click the link in the description. And thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to our experiment. You can tell the feet are cold because they're barely boiling the liquid nitrogen. Here's what a warm thing looks like. Okay, after about 5 minutes, you can see it has made it up a good distance here. Right here, we're at 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So a little chilly right here. Pretty cold down here. So we'll get to freezing at about 10 inches up. So I know in the movie his legs broke. But even if that were the case, that means the freezing would likely only move about 10 inches up the body. So not enough to freeze the whole top like it did in the movie. So yeah, the T1000 definitely could have made it out of this. So the point of this whole video is don't try to use liquid nitrogen as a method to kill robots when the uprising happens. And thanks for watching another episode of the Action Lab, and I'll see you next time.